to want to harm my baby or anything like that. And if I knew where he was, I would definitely have done.
Lower your voice to me, because you have no right to raise your voice to me. You lied to me twice in your son's abduction case. Don't raise your voice to me.
I have no reason.
Do you got a reason to lie to me?
No, I do not.
Why have you done it twice now?
I don't even know.
This is Lonna Barton, who was continuously lying and making up stories to the detectives about her missing son. Displaying this offensive behavior, Lonna thinks she can trap the detectives in her evil mind game and get away with her horrible deeds. But that wasn't the case.
Don't get smart with me.
Well, I'm not.
I've got at least 2 times you've lied to us in this investigation. You've lied twice in here today. Correct? Say yes.
About the...
Anything. You lied at least twice in here today.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this is the exact moment when 26-year-old Lonna Barton realizes that the detectives are now catching her mind games. Major twist of the case comes when the investigation leads police to secret undercover footage of Lonna and her boyfriend that ruins the twisted lies and the fake 911 that he did.
Jacksonville 911, Ron.
Yes, I want to report a car stolen. It's a 95 Honda Civic.
You know who stole it?
No, I don't. It's a 95 Honda Civic. Somebody just took off. My kid is in the back of the car.
Okay. What color is it?
It's a bright orange. You can't miss it. 95 Honda Civic.
Which way did it go?
I mean, I just seen it. I tried to run towards the street, but it looked like it went left, but I couldn't tell, man. By the time I got from the back of the neighborhood, I think had already...
In the early hours of Friday, July 24th, 2015, 2:22 a.m., a distressing 911 call was made to dispatchers. Ruben Ebron, a resident at the Ravenwood apartment complex, reported the theft of his distinctive orange and black 1995 Honda Civic. The call took a more ominous turn as Ebron informed the dispatcher that his girlfriend's son, Lonzie Barton, was in the back seat during the incident. He recounted to the dispatcher his unsuccessful attempt to pursue the vehicle. In a matter of minutes, law enforcement swiftly descended upon the Ravenwood apartment complex, the very place where Ebron resided alongside his girlfriend, Lonna Lauramore Barton, and her 2 young children, 21-month-old Lonzie and his 5-year-old sister, Lily. Ebron informed the authorities that he was en route to pick up his girlfriend, Lonna, from her place of employment at Wacko's Gentleman Club, where she held a position as a dancer. He had put both Lonzie and Lily in the car to take them for a ride. However, shortly after starting the car engine, he suddenly remembered that he had left something behind in the apartment. As the car sat idling in the parking lot, he hurriedly left both children in the back seat and rushed up to retrieve his belongings. Upon exiting the room, he noticed that Lily had trailed behind him and preferred to watch TV rather than go get Lonna. He turned on the film Aladdin and went to get Lonzie from the car, allowing the child to stay home with his sister. As he exited his apartment, a chilling sight awaited him. The car was being driven away. Ebron then informed the officers that he made an attempt to pursue the vehicle on foot, but unfortunately he was unable to catch up in time. Following the police interview with Ebron, an Amber Alert was promptly issued, leading to the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office taking charge of the investigation. Sheriff Mike Williams and Chief Investigator Tom Hackney spearheaded the team in their pursuit of answers. Officers meticulously combed the area, methodically searched on foot and by car. After just 15 minutes of searching, Ebron's car was discovered a mile away from the apartment complex. There were still keys in the ignition, yet Lonzie was nowhere to be found in the car or its vicinity.
Now, JSO found that car here off of Cespedes Avenue not long after the original call came in, but the boy was not inside the car when they found it. So now they are trying to figure out who stole the car and where this child is.
The police were hopeful that someone would come forward and report the sighting of a child wandering the streets, but unfortunately no such call was made. Revisiting the questions they posed to Ebron, groups of officers paid visits to the laundromats and gas station. that Ebron claimed to have gone to the previous day with both Lonzie and Lily. No significant findings were discovered in either location. By Friday morning, the entire community had rallied together in a collective effort to find Lonzie. Residents of the Ravenwood apartment complex actively participated in the search effort, distributing flyers and posting missing persons posters in the surrounding area to support the police. Investigators also reached out to Lonzie's biological father, Christopher Barton, who resided in Bakers County. Officers were dispatched to his residence to inquire about Lonzie and his potential whereabouts, but Christopher eventually was cleared of any connection to the toddler's vanishing. A second team of officers conducted interviews at Lonna's workplace, speaking with both staff and patrons to gather information about any unusual occurrences from the previous night. Staff members reported that there were no noticeable changes in Lonna's behavior during her entire shift at work. However, there were lingering doubts surrounding Ebron, especially for investigator Tom Hackney, who felt compelled to further scrutinize the individual responsible for caring for the children. Ebron willingly accompanied the authorities to the police station for questioning without any resistance. Investigators began their inquiry by requesting Ebron to provide a detailed account of the events from the previous night. He maintained his account of how the day unfolded. He provided a detailed account to investigators about his regular childcare duties whenever Lonna had work commitments. The interview had a relaxed atmosphere as investigators believed that Ebron was withholding crucial information that could aid in the search for Lonzie. Lonna willingly provided her full cooperation to the police during questioning as part of the investigation. According to her statement, she entrusted Lonzie and Lily to Ebron's care while she was working that night. Lonna also mentioned that she saw her son before heading to work at 8:30 p.m. on that Thursday evening, and he appeared to be in good spirits and without any concerns. Lonna was permitted to depart since she had no further details to contribute to the investigation. The officers also permitted her to have a brief interaction with Ebron before his subsequent round of interrogation, while the police closely observed their interaction through the camera during the intervals between questioning sessions. Officers noticed that both Ebron and Lonna displayed an unusual level of concern for each other's well-being, which raised suspicions among investigators given the circumstances of the missing child case. Once Lonna was released from the station, the officers went back to interrogate Ebron. Investigators began to delve deeper into Ebron's statements, carefully examining the details and seeking clarification. In a shocking turn of events, he eventually confessed to revisiting the apartment to retrieve cocaine that he intended to sell after picking up Lonna from the club. Ebron's mounting frustration with law enforcement became evident as his anger grew, and he insisted on knowing whether he was being viewed as a potential suspect. In the absence of any concrete evidence linking Ebron to Lonzie's disappearance, the authorities opted to charge him with child neglect. This charge stemmed from the fact that Ebron had left Lonzie and Lily unattended in a running car while he went off to procure drugs for his personal use. Consequently, Ebron found himself confined to the county jail. After Ebron was apprehended, law enforcement delved into his background, discovering a deeply unsettling criminal history. Several court documents filed against Ebron in Duval County were discovered by the police, dating back as far as 2005. The charges against him included armed robbery and assault charges brought by his ex-girlfriend. Ebron was also placed on probation for a grand theft auto charge. Based on the court documents, Ebron faced allegations of causing harm to his ex-girlfriend and their son. The incident occurred when he violently assaulted her while she was pregnant with their child. Additionally, his ex-girlfriend had made accusations of stalking against him. In addition, he also targeted one of her sisters, resulting in the sister being hospitalized. Ebron's actions also included making threats towards his ex-girlfriend's 12-year-old niece, and he also faced a drug charge from Baker County. However, the story didn't end there. Additional charges were filed against Ebron by his former partner, who claimed that he attacked her in the apartment they both lived in with Lonna and her children on July 1st, 2015. The assault took place when she went to pick up the children she shared custody of with Ebron. This happened while Lonna's children were in the living room. The charges portrayed a disturbing image of Ebron. Authorities started to question whether there was a deeper layer to Lonzie's disappearance than what their primary suspect was revealing. However, despite authorities doubting Ebron's account, the relentless search for Lonzie continued. Over the weekend, a large number of police officers were dispatched to search the nearby parks and forested areas. Investigators enlisted the help of bloodhounds and other trained dogs to aid in the search for the young child who had mysteriously disappeared. Helicopter searches were conducted over the densely forested areas in and around Jacksonville. With his blue eyes and blonde hair, he had the appearance of a heavenly figure, as some would describe. People were looking for him desperately, and his early life had been filled with chaos due to a shattered family. On Sunday, July 26, 2015, police dive teams initiated a search of the lakes and waterways in and around Jacksonville. It was speculated that a child of his age may have ventured into one of the water bodies without any adult supervision. However, as time went on, the weekend turned into an extended period with no trace of Lonzie. After 10 days of intense search, the police decided to reduce their efforts as the chance of finding Lonzie alive seemed increasingly unlikely.
Started Friday morning at about 2:20 in the morning as a report of an auto theft and abduction that began search efforts in and around the Briarwood neighborhood where the case was originally reported. Worked from a window of time from Thursday night at 8 p.m. to 2:20 Friday morning when the report was called in through 911. Our efforts now have turned, again, like I had alluded to before, this is less of a missing persons investigation, more of a homicide investigation. Days have slipped by. 21-month-old is out on his own somewhere. That is a turn of events that's bad, and it begins to keep going the same.
However, during the investigation into Lonzie's disappearance, 2 additional bodies were found. In a chilling discovery, the lifeless body of an adult male was discovered in the dense undergrowth near a business park close to Southside Boulevard on July 27, 2015. The police suspect that this individual had been reported missing a year prior, adding an eerie layer to this perplexing case. The second incident involved the discovery of a man's skeletal remains in a pond close to the 5400 block of Bowden Road. The remains were found in a sunken late 1980s Mazda RX-7, leading authorities to suspect that it had been submerged in the pond for an extended period. There were no indications of any offense in either case. Despite these chilling revelations, there was still no trace of Lonzie. The public was urged to come forward by the sheriff's office in a statement they issued. The public rallied together and managed to raise an impressive sum of $12,800 through a dedicated fund. The police have announced that a reward will be offered to anyone who can provide information that may help locate Lonzie. However, law enforcement was on the verge of discovering crucial evidence that would lead the investigation down a sinister and unclear path. After thoroughly investigating the neighborhood, detectives stumbled upon a crucial piece of video evidence. A residential CCTV security camera captured footage of Ebron's orange Honda racing down the roads towards the vicinity where the car was found. Approximately 10 minutes later, the camera captured Ebron swiftly moving away from the car and heading towards the apartment complex. Upon reviewing the timestamps, it was revealed that Ebron had made the call a mere 10 minutes after he was spotted running back on camera. When presented with the video evidence, Ebron found himself at a loss for words when questioned by the police. He maintained his innocence regarding Lonzie, but the police suspected that he may have been involved in harming Lonzie and fabricated the abduction as a diversion. Ebron declined to provide any additional responses and expressed his desire to have legal representation present during his next interaction with law enforcement. Investigators were certain of Ebron's involvement, but they remained uncertain about Lonna's potential role in the cover-up. As a result, they concluded it was necessary to bring her in for questioning once more. Police were baffled by the fact that Lonna, as a mother, would have willingly allowed a violent man to care for and reside in the same apartment as her children. They were perplexed by her decision to let him openly use and sell drugs in the presence of her young children. After the public release of the surveillance footage, Lonna was taken into custody by the police. During her interview with the investigators, it became evident that she had been withholding information, leading to a tense and intense exchange.
Calm down, because I'm telling you.
You're absolutely right, though, and I don't really fucking.
So far, this is where you're at. I've got at least 2 times you've lied to us in this investigation. You've lied twice in here today. Correct? Say yes.
About the...
Anything. You lied at least twice in here today.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Don't get smart with me.
Well, I'm not.
Okay, because I'm here. Listen, I'm the third day burning a candle trying to find your son.
Yes, sir.
Okay, when you were sleeping, my ass was here. Okay?
Lonna had previously informed officers that she crossed paths with Ebron during her employment as a dancer at Wacko's. He frequented the club regularly and served as a key supplier for herself and the other dancers to obtain drugs. They started a romantic relationship, but their connection grew stronger through their shared experiences with drug use. When the news broke that night about Lonzie's disappearance, police began to concentrate on her first response. Officers who had been searching for Lonzie on foot interviewed Lonna while she was on her way home, providing valuable information. Throughout the interrogation, she adamantly claimed to not know Ebron's identity or any details regarding the incident.
We've got an abducted child in a stolen car. I pulled up here because I didn't know if this is the car or not. I know it isn't, but I'm looking for an orange Honda Civic and a black male. It was the one reported. Do you know anything about that? Then
I'm telling him yes.
No, you said no. He asked your boyfriend. You have a black boyfriend there, and does he have an orange Honda?
Honestly, I wanted to get there and check things out, make sure that I was telling him that.
Right, and that's the first little thing I knew. That's the first little thing that I wanted to see.
What was
exactly.
going on for
Christina
myself
said exactly that.
before I,
Right.
Before I told them something was wrong or right or whatever, I wanted to see if it was my kid that was missing, if it was Ruben or not. I didn't tell them that was my situation if it wasn't.
Right. So
that's the truth.
Now.
That's the truth.
Okay. Right. That's what Christina said. You told her, hey, because she was upset that you lied because she knew, right? Tell me where I'm wrong. She was kind of upset, like, hey, why are you doing this, and you said, I want to see what's going on before I talk with them or something to that effect, or I want to talk with Ruben,
I wanted to make sure that it was actually my kid, not Danny's, or someone else, that had come over, because like I said, we do babysit other people's children. Right. I wanted to make sure it was my kid for sure. That was.
Well, he told you Ebron.
Yeah, but.
You didn't know if it was going to be Lexi or...
Exactly, I didn't know if it was
Is that what you're
kid.
saying?
Yes, I didn't know if it was my kid in the car or not. I just wanted to double check. I wanted to get there and
Lexi's not a white male child.
Well, I would call her white.
White male child with a black boyfriend named Ebron. You knew he was talking about yours.
I just wanted to make sure. It wasn't set in... It's like
that was set in stone. Hold on. It was set in stone. It was set in stone. That's what then this is the first... This is the first big hurdle we're getting to, okay?
When faced with the responses she provided during the street interview, Lonna claimed that she didn't fully understand the description of the child given to her by the officer. In a previous interview, she mentioned her suspicion that Lonzie might have entered the bedroom and accidentally overdosed on Ebron's drugs.
I think that he wasn't watching him well and something happened to him. And I think maybe he got a hold of something, out of his drawer or off the dresser or out of the floor somewhere, or something, and maybe, accidentally overdosed or something like that, and he freaked out and he come up with something quick to, make it look like something else.
She also suggested that Ebron could be trying to hide his involvement.
What do I think happened to him? I think that he wasn't watching him properly, and I think that he either opinion is he probably either drowned in the bathtub or he wasn't watching him in our room and he got a hold of something he probably shouldn't have.
Right.
Those are the only two logical things that I can think of.
You're right.
Like I told you, I've been telling you from the beginning, I feel like something happened at my house, that my baby was already hurt before they come and got me. Did I not tell you that several times?
Well, we're still trying to dispel that he wasn't already hurt.
During the third interview, she informed the officers that the story of Lonzie's overdose was quickly spreading as a rumor in the local community. Lonna also confessed that Ebron had contacted her on that Friday morning and instructed her to make her arrangements for getting home after work. She later admitted that she and Ebron had engaged in a heated argument before she departed for work that evening. This incident revolved around a bruise that was discovered behind Lonzie's ear. Lonna also noted that Lonzie had been unusually tired throughout the day and a strange discharge was coming from his ear before her shift. The police were unmoved by Lonna's confession. They raised concerns about her role as a mother, particularly considering her knowledge of Ebron's history and propensity for violence. In August 2015, Lonna faced charges of child neglect and providing false information to officers during an investigation. Lonna found herself in the county jail, only to be set free 6 days later after posting a surety bond of $50,000. Nevertheless, Ebron was kept in custody when authorities uncovered his involvement in smuggling contraband and his failed attempt to escape during a court appearance, with assistance from another inmate. The court judge ultimately determined that Ebron was prohibited from making any form of contact, whether direct or indirect, with anyone involved in the case. Prosecutors obtained recorded conversations between Ebron and his ex-girlfriend, shedding light on the case. He was granted the opportunity to communicate with his parents under the watchful eye of his lawyers, ensuring that he couldn't pass any messages due to his previous escape attempt. Ultimately, the judge decided to deny Ebron any visitors. However, while Ebron remained incarcerated, Lonna diligently prepared for a custody case concerning Lily. Little did she know, her actions were about to lead her down a dark and unsettling path. Shortly after being released on bond, Lonna decided to rebuild her relationship with her ex-husband, Christopher. The two had planned on making some fast money from a drug sale. Following a custody hearing concerning their daughter, Lily's well-being, Lonna and Christopher proceeded to a motel in Bakers County. Their scheme involved the sale of a synthetic drug known as Molly, but little did they know the entire exchange was being carefully tracked. The couple found themselves in the clutches of the law, facing multiple counts of drug-related charges. Christopher was sentenced to 3 years, while Lonna received a longer sentence of 7 years. Lonna and Christopher tragically lost custody of their daughter, Lily. Lonna was hit with another devastating setback. She had also lost custody of her older daughter, whom she had when she was a teenager. Lily and her older sister were both taken in by their maternal grandmother. After a series of encounters with law enforcement, Lonna's presence became increasingly common in the media. Many people were left wondering about the true identity of Lonzie's biological father due to her wild behavior and irresponsible choices. Christopher was determined to establish Lonzie's paternity and silence his critics, so he decided to undergo a DNA test. In December 2015, the DNA results revealed that Christopher was not Lonzie's biological father. The hunt for Lonzie never stopped, but it slowed down. On October 17, 2015, the community members gathered to hold a vigil for Lonzie, showing their support in the search for the child. It would have been his second birthday. In January 2016, 6 months had passed since Lonzie's disappearance, and the police were eagerly awaiting Ebron's cooperation to shed light on the case. Meanwhile, Lonna admitted her guilt to charges of mistreating of kids and tampering with information. She reluctantly agreed to testify against Ebron in hopes of receiving a reduced sentence of 5 years. In the end, she would spend a total of 12 years behind bars. However, on January 11, 2016, the case of Lonzie Barton was about to take a chilling and unsettling twist. Concerned that Lonna would shift all the responsibility onto him, Ebron informed investigators that he was prepared to guide them to the location of Lonzie's remains. It was a mix of emotions for law enforcement as they were able to provide closure to those who had been desperately seeking answers about Lonzie. Ebron directed law enforcement to a location near Snyder Street, close to the Phillips Highway in Florida. Amidst a pile of discarded tires, a chilling find awaited.
We are here today to tell you that we strongly believe that we have found the remains of Lonzie Barton in a wooded area nearby here.
A black bin bag concealed what seemed to be the haunting remains of Lonzie Barton. Ebron hesitated to provide a statement to the authorities regarding the true events surrounding Lonzie's disappearance. He described how he and Lonna had placed Lonzie in the bathtub for a bath. They both got caught up in their activities and completely neglected the child in the tub. Once they finished, Lonna decided to check on Lonzie, only to find him drowned in his water, lifeless. Overwhelmed by fear, both he and Lonna made a desperate decision to conceal Lonnie's death by burying his body in a secluded area and orchestrating a carjacking. Lonna would go to work as usual while he stayed at home, diligently crafting a false lead to mislead investigators. Lonna, on the other hand, maintained her innocence regarding Lonzie's death, claiming that he had tragically overdosed on drugs that were in Ebron's possession. The search for Lonzie had reached a devastating conclusion.
News 4 Jax has obtained 3 videos from that night this past January, and you can hear Ebron's voice as he gives police directions to the property at the end of Snyder Street in Bayard.
Tragically, he passed away before reaching his second birthday, just 2 years after being born on October 17, 2013. The youngest child of Lonna will always be remembered as a baby by his grandmother and 2 older sisters. The true identity of his biological father continues to elude him. Despite the shocking nature of the tragedy, investigators were obliged to uncover the true cause of his demise. An investigation was conducted into the skeletal remains of Lonzie to uncover the potential cause of death. Unfortunately, it was impossible to ascertain whether he had drowned or if his passing was the result of an unintentional drug overdose. The cause of Lonzie's death remains uncertain. According to the medical examiner, the victim had multiple fractures in his ribcage and skull, suggesting that these injuries may have been inflicted around the time of his death. Lonzie was buried on April 5, 2016, at the Turner Cemetery in Glen St. Mary's, Florida. Both Lonna and Christopher's defense teams had requested for both parents to be present at their child's funeral. Following the funeral, they were both sent to prison to serve their sentences. Ebron willingly accepted the plea deal offered by the prosecutors and subsequently assisted investigators in locating the remains of Lonzie Barton. At the tender age of 21 months, his life was tragically cut short. Ebron faced a serious charge of aggravated manslaughter. During Ebron's trial in January 2016, his attorney, James Boyle, showed no surprise when presented with the autopsy report. In court, he highlighted that according to Ebron's statements, Lonzie's autopsy would have revealed evidence of harm inflicted by others. During the court's proceedings, Boyle testified that Ebron had informed him and the police about Lonzie's return from Bakersfield with noticeable injuries on his body. Ebron had also informed the police officers about capturing images of these injuries and provided them with the location where he had saved them on his phone. The prosecution's case was presented clearly and concisely. There was a heated debate regarding Ebron's potential involvement in Lonzie's injuries, with some suggesting that he may be responsible for all, or at least some of them. Ebron had already admitted to neglecting a child, engaging in drug use around minors, providing false information about Lonzie's disappearance, and attempting to conceal Lonzie's death through deceitful tactics. The prosecution deemed his actions unforgivable. In February 2016, Ebron received a 20-year prison sentence with no chance of parole. After the case came to an end, Ruben Ebron Jr., Ebron's father, addressed the media to share his insights gained from the investigation. He expressed deep empathy for the family of Lonzie Barton and the immense suffering they went through. Ruben expressed his anger towards those who were supposed to protect the child, but instead inflicted more harm upon him. He also noted that Lonzie's brief time on Earth was undoubtedly filled with suffering and that he has now found solace in a more secure realm. Ruben disputed any responsibility for his son's involvement in Lonzie's tragic demise, but he did suggest that Lonna's punishment should be reevaluated at some point. Today's case is yet another tragic incident involving the loss of a young life. It is a subject that often sparks intense debate within our society, whether certain individuals should have the privilege of raising children. Today, we would like to hear your thoughts on the Lonzie Barton case. Was Lonna Lauramore Barton's sentence fair and just? Do you think Lonna and Ebron were ever telling the truth? And why does it always seem like we discover the truth too late in cases like the one we're discussing today? We would greatly appreciate hearing your thoughts in the comment section below. If you found today's video intriguing, we would greatly appreciate it if you consider subscribing to our channel, giving it a thumbs up, and sharing it with other enthusiasts of crime stories. If you have any crime stories you would like us to cover, please message us in the comment section below. Until next time, take care.